Alright, with us is Lenovo's highest-end 2-in-1, the Yoga 9i Aura Edition. Look, 2-in-1s, they used to be all the rage a couple of years ago, but many people just weren't actually using the tablet functionality, so manufacturers have pulled back their offerings. In fact, this laptop and HP's OmniBook Ultra Flip, they're really the last remaining bastion of premium 2-in-1s. So if you do want one, we're going to show you what the Yoga 9i is like and how it stacks up versus the OmniBook Ultra Flip. But since you're watching one of our videos, guess what? I'm not going to make you watch the whole video to find out. Instead, I'm just going to tell you right now. Whether you're looking for a premium 2-in-1 or just a really nice laptop, the Yoga 9i, it's definitely a great option. It's good for students or people who just want a nice laptop for home or office, those who are sticking to light tasks like browsing the web, Excel, and that sort of thing. Where the Yoga shines is with its excellent keyboard, bright display, good speakers, and how nice the pen feels when using it as a tablet. Where it falls behind its competitor, the OmniBook Ultra Flip, is in battery life. Its trackpad also feels cheap by comparison, and it's not quite as small and compact as that laptop is. Look, this Yoga is essentially the same laptop from last year, but with new components inside. Which one you like best, it really depends on your use case and which laptop is on sale when you buy it. If you are looking for the best price on any laptop, head on over to our website bestlaptop.deals. We have a price tracker there, you can set custom price drop notifications, and we even call out when the laptop's price makes it a good deal or a great one. But that said, here's the review.
The Yoga 9i 2-in-1 makes a strong first impression. Its chassis is unchanged this year. It continues to look and feel premium. Ours came in a stylish blue color. If you're comparing the 9i to all premium laptops, we'd say its build quality and style are very close to the top, but not the top. The Dell XPS 13 and MacBook Air look more modern and premium. A lot of this is due to their more unified build. The Yoga's bottom half is larger than its top, and the bottom has a glossy finish to it, but the top doesn't. Compared to the Flip, the Yoga is ever so slightly larger than that laptop, but still a nice size. Weight-wise, these two are pretty much neck and neck, but neither are as lightweight as other premium competitors though, like the MacBook Air 13 or ZenBook S14, but they're not very far off. The Yoga's mostly metallic build leads to a sturdy-feeling chassis with minimal keyboard deck and screen flex. That means the keyboard deck doesn't move when you're typing, and the screen doesn't have much give. There's also a slight sharp edge at the front of the keyboard before it becomes rounded. I didn't find it annoying, but it may cut into your wrists a little bit if you're using a laptop without support, like on a plain tray table. Unfortunately, the lid does pick up fingerprints, which can take away from its premium look. We feel slightly more so than on the Flip. The Yoga has sturdy enough hinges to write on the touchscreen, but the screen can flop back a bit when you're walking around with it. The Flip's hinges are slightly sturdier. Back on the Yoga, it opens with one hand to reveal an attractive display. Its glossy panel is 14 inches with a 2880 by 1800 resolution, and it refreshes at up to 120 Hz. It is also a touchscreen that supports pen and tilt. For colors, the screen covers 100% of the sRGB and P3 color gamuts. The 9i's display also gets nice and bright at just over 500 nits. This is a bit brighter than the Flip's 380. This means you will have an easier time combating reflections despite its glossy finish. We are also happy to report that we found no noticeable screen door effect and PWM flickering. For the pen, I found the experience to be smooth and comfortable. For testing, I utilized Lenovo's Slim Pen. The screen was very good at rejecting the side of my hand when I was writing. I didn't have any issues with that. Compared to HP's OmniBook Ultra Flip, which also offers 2-in-1 capabilities, the pens seem to glide easier on the Yoga 9i. You may or may not like this, as the Flip feels more like actually writing on paper, as there is some resistance to it. The HP pen also seems to have a bit of a spring in the nib, which the Slim Pen does not have. It was cool to see that there are some customizable pen settings from Lenovo, where you can program the buttons on the pen, set the pressure and tilt sensitivities, and see how much battery is left. The pen magnetizes to the front of the lid. Quick note, the cap of the pen, which you need to remove to charge it, does come off very easily and is very hard to get back on. Overall, though, a very positive experience for those of you who might utilize the pen. But whether you'd prefer the Flip's experience is personal preference. Both Josh and I prefer the pen experience on the Yoga 9i. Next is my favorite part. I love Lenovo's keyboards. They always feel clicky and satisfying without ever being too loud. This one is no exception. It does have a slightly non-standard layout with a row of extra function keys and a fingerprint reader along the right side. This is a very convenient location for the fingerprint reader. Normally, we wouldn't like these extra keys in this location as people mispress keys here. On this laptop, though, you're unlikely to mispress as much since the one by the arrow key does nothing if you press it. There's also a nice coating on the keys that makes them feel smooth. The Flip's keyboard feels low travel by comparison, but it does have a completely standard layout, so no worries at all about mispresses. My only complaint on the Yoga is that the backlight could be a bit brighter. It doesn't illuminate the keys very much, and there is some backlight bleed around the sides. This makes it hard to see from certain angles. The trackpad is a disappointment compared to the keyboard. There's certainly nothing wrong with it. It has a standard mechanical click and it isn't too loud, but it's simply not as good as some of its competition. It feels clunky compared to the haptic trackpad on Apple's MacBooks and the Flip. Just know that on the Flip specifically, its trackpad does have some palm rejection issues. For ports on the Yoga 9i, we have a 10 gigabit USB-A and 2 Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports on the left side. On the right, we have a headphone mic combo jack, a 20 gigabit USB-C port. All USB-C ports do support charging. The power button is also on the right side. If you are worried about mispressing it when you are gripping the laptop, don't be. It doesn't do anything unless you hold it down for a while. If you don't like this, the Flips is at the top right of its keyboard. Overall, the ports are better on the Yoga because so many people still use a USB-A port for their mouse dongle and flash drives. It's just more convenient to have one. The sound from the speakers is good. The laptop has some of its speakers housed in the hinge. This makes the sound more immersive than on a typical laptop as the speakers face you. It also means that you don't lose as much sound quality when you have the laptop on a blanket as you would on a typical laptop that only has downward-facing speakers. Bass is as good as you're going to get on a laptop this size. Our only nit was the clarity could be better. Take a listen. Here's how the 5-megapixel 1440p webcam looks and sounds on the Yoga 9i 2-in-1. It also features an IR camera and a physical privacy shutter. When we saw how long the Yoga 9i lasts on battery, we were a little disappointed. Compared to other laptops with the same processor, it does the worst. The ZenBook S14 also has a high-resolution OLED screen and an even smaller battery, yet that one beats it. This goes for both our video playback test, where we play a downloaded movie on repeat, and our office productivity test, where the laptop does basic Microsoft Office tasks until it dies. Of all laptops we've tested, not just modern competitors around this price point, this is closer to an average result than an awful one. Let's now take a look at performance on battery. Firstly, this laptop doesn't drop its performance when unplugged, but its performance is below average to begin with. The MacBooks or the OmniBook Ultra non-Flip all give you a better performance when on battery. With that said, let's talk performance when plugged in. The Yoga 9i 2-in-1 still has plenty of performance for most people. Lunar Lake CPUs like this one offer strong single-core and decent multi-core scores, which will be sufficient for tasks like Microsoft Office, web browsing, and even learning to code. Compared to laptops in the same size and price range, it places last in our common performance tasks benchmark, but not by a huge margin. It performs similarly to laptops with the same processor, while lagging behind laptops with more powerful CPUs like Apple's M4, AMD's Ryzen 9, or even Intel's higher-tier Arrow Lake H. Switching over to Cinebench, which tests the processor when it's maxed out, its performance now falls behind. We've even retested this multiple times on different settings. Notebook Check tested this laptop and got better performance than us, so it could just be our unit. This graph really shows you the range of multi-core performance this price bracket offers, so if you know you need strong multi-core for the things you do, I wouldn't go with this one. Some of the benefits of having a lower performing processor include lower power consumption, less heat, and quieter fan noise. This holds somewhat true here, with the Yoga 9i doing a good job of keeping its components cool even during performance tasks. This is somewhere the higher performing laptops struggle. In addition to that, the Yoga's keyboard deck doesn't heat up as much as other similar laptops, even under a max performance load. So that is certainly nice to see. In light use, I never notice the fans going. If you're going to really push the performance of the laptop, its fan noise is about average, falling right in the middle of our competitors. But it's on the higher end of Lunar Lake laptops, which might be how it's staying so cool. Now, if you're interested in playing some light games on your laptop, these Lunar Lake V processors are usually a good pick. The 9i gets the best overall score in TimeSpy, a gaming benchmark. This isn't enough performance for modern AAA titles at high settings, but if you're playing League of Legends or Minecraft, you'd be fine. It also stays cool for these kinds of tasks on the keyboard deck, but the underside gets a little warm if you're playing on your lap. Still a bit cooler than the Flip. Looking at our next benchmark, Wildlife Extreme, which helps us compare graphics performance to macOS, we do see the MacBooks win out. This is to be expected, but the 9i still does very well. On the flip side, the 860M graphics in the ZenBook 14's Ryzen 7 chip have an abysmal showing here. If you're looking to try Linux on this machine, it did not boot for us without turning off Secure Boot, which we normally do not have to do. We tried both Ubuntu 24.04 and Fedora 42, and it wouldn't boot at first. When we turned Secure Boot off, it worked, but only partially. Speakers and Bluetooth still weren't functional. New drivers may be able to fix this, but be aware Linux doesn't work fully out of the box. As far as upgradeability goes, the back is difficult to remove, but you can replace the short M.2 SSD and the battery if necessary. The RAM is a part of the chipset, so that is not upgradable or replaceable. The Wi-Fi 7 card does not appear to be replaceable either, but you likely won't need to upgrade that one for a while.
Alright, I think I already gave my conclusions up front, so I'm going to keep this short. As mentioned, the Yoga 9i is a good laptop for students or those with light computing needs. It is known to frequently go on sale, so definitely check out our website, bestlaptop.deals. We track prices right across retailers. In fact, since this year's Yoga 9i 2-in-1 is really the same laptop as last year, just with new components inside, if you can get that older model on sale for $200 less, it's worth considering. The newer model feels snappier with faster single-core speeds and better graphics, but the older one has similar battery life and actually performs better in multi-core. Look, many people just aren't going to notice much of a difference. Finally, before I go, we're really trying to get to 400k subs this year. My mother has specifically told me it will make her super proud. If you can help out by getting subscribed, I would certainly appreciate it, and so would she. Till next time, go do something awesome with your day, and I will catch you later.